Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to those who are here in person and to those tuning in online. We're delighted to have you join us this evening. Tonight is a very special program called Gentle Yoga and is provided by Wild Honey Yoga Into Being Project. The goal of the project is to provide an accessible, gentle practice that encourages listening, curiosity, and care. Instructor Gina Greene will guide you through a practice to connect to your body, breath, mind, and heart. The session will begin with an appreciation for the breath, followed by a little friendly movement. Participants will release tension, inviting softening, and visit the loving, calm quiet of their own being. I do have a note, we're all humans, right? So with unique bodies and unique needs, so we would like everyone to note that by participating in this program, you're taking responsibility for your own body. Your body is unique, and we encourage you to only participate in what feels safe and healthy for your body and circumstances. If you're tuning in at home and you have a question for Gina, feel free to put it in the chat. I'll relay it to her at some point in the program. And now I have the pleasure of introducing Gina. Instructor Gina Greene has been enjoying the practice of yoga for over 20 years. She began teaching 18 years ago upon request and hasn't turned away from the invitation since. She has completed her 500 hours of yoga teacher training, and she is also a practicing massage therapist and has learned how deeply the body needs time and encouragement to unwind, gentle, and soften in order to access the deeper movement of healing and rejuvenation. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. If you have any questions, I'm a librarian here, and my name's Catherine. Enjoy the program.
All right. So I would like to start off by saying thank you to the Arts Council of Kalamazoo for helping fund this project that I've been working on. And there are some flyers out there if you want to take information with you and share it around. I've been working on a series of videos and podcasts that will be up online for free access. So you can practice at home if you like some of the things that you experienced tonight. It's both very gentle yoga little sessions. There are a few of those. There's a series with tennis balls that help you move tension and spots that are hard to get to on your own. And then the podcasts are a few meditations and then also some reflections, ways to begin to think about healing in the body, how we can relate to the practice of yoga, the invitation to be in practice in our lives. So thank you, Kalamazoo Arts Foundation, for helping with that. I want to talk a little bit about what yoga is or what yoga might be to start with. So often these days we go into classes and it's all about the physical practice. And there is a depth to this ancient practice of yoga that sometimes gets missed. Yoga means to unite, to bring together, to yoke. And I have one teacher who likes to talk about it in terms of connection. And I really like that word. It feels really present, useful, and relatable to me. So the idea of being connected to something or someone, right? So being in relationship. So if we're working with that on the mat, we're moving into deeper relationship with our bodies, with our breath, and with our minds. And sometimes with this deeper thing that everybody seems to have a different word for, the heart, the spirit, the soul, something. Yeah. So the practice is both a physical or mental kind of practice, as well as a state of being. So we can use the movement or use the meditation to access this experience of connection to ourselves and to each other and to something bigger than ourselves. Yeah. So when we come onto the mat, it's really important to think about how we're doing that, right? So how do we want to be in relationship with ourselves and with our practice? And I'm wondering if we could take just a little bit of time to think about that question before we begin tonight. So if yoga is about being in connection and being in relationship with self, what might that look like as we begin to move our bodies on the mat? Yeah. So we might just take a little bit of time to close the eyes and turn the attention in and just think about how we're feeling in our bodies today. Is there a particular hope that we had coming into practice tonight? Right? Is there something that's bubbling up inside? Some kind of request that's hoping to be met in some kind of way? In my experience, the yoga postures, the practice on the mat, has more to do with inviting my mind to drop into this moment with me. So my mind likes to go to the future or to what happened yesterday and problem solve and make lists and get creative and get really busy. And sometimes with really wonderful, healthy things, and sometimes with things that are a little anxiety producing, right? Either or. So for me, when I come onto the mat, it's about asking my mind to actually pay attention for just a brief moment to my body and my breath. And then something else can occur. Yeah. So we're going to see how that feels, see if we might be able to tap into it a little bit here tonight. Okay. Do you guys have any questions before we start? Okay. We're going to start on our backs, and we're going to work at first with a connection to the breath. For me, the breath is the piece that brings my mind right into the moment, right, into the experience, into feeling in my body. So we're going to start in partial recline, so we can take a nice roll down. Oh, I have a microphone there. That's not going to work. Excuse me. New business here. We'll put it back. As we come into partial recline, that's knees bent, soles of feet to the mat. We're going to turn our toes out and then lift our heels and move our heels out and let the knees drop in so that they're steepling, right? They're supporting the weight of each other, and it helps to take pressure off of the lower back. Okay. And from here, excuse me, let's bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the heart. Inhale, nice full breath. And then we can exhale with an audible sigh if that's comfortable for you. Just a little bit of a... And we might try that one more time. Inhaling, full breath. And exhaling with a... Inhale, full breath. And then exhale gently through the nostrils. And continue to notice the feeling of the breath here. In the practice of yoga, we're inviting the breath to move in and out of the nostrils. And we're going to encourage the breath to begin to slow down and lengthen And one of the easiest ways to do that is to simply pay attention to the breath. Can you notice how the breath feels as it's moving into the nostrils? Can you notice the movement of the chest, of the lungs? Can you notice the rise and fall of the belly? And then we're going to encourage the breath to deepen just a little bit more. Moving into a breath rhythm called complete breath. So we can start by noticing the exhalation. We'll be deepening the exhalation, drawing the navel gently in toward the spine. Simply let the breath draw in on the next inhalation. Yeah. On the exhalation, navel draws gently down toward the spine. And on the inhalation, we're encouraging the breath to fill the lower, the middle, and the upper lungs. So it might feel like belly lifting, ribs lifting, spreading, all the way up into the upper chest. Yeah. And we'll encourage this deepening of the breath with a sense of ease. Yeah. We focus more on the exhale. It's pretty accessible to draw navel down a little, yeah. And then let the inhale happen. Just take a little more time for it. If you feel any kind of anxiety with the breath there, when we're trying to inhale and make it feel a little fuller, sometimes folks have a sense of anxiety or tension there. My request is that you just let the breath be. Yeah. We can keep inviting, and it will begin to open and widen over time. Mm-hmm. Okay. So at any point, coming back to the breath, simply stopping practice. If any of the poses aren't good medicine for your body, you can pause and come into relationship with the breath. It is a fine practice, and it's a very portable practice. Yeah. So now we're going to see if we can't feel this nice full breath and begin to move the body along with the rhythm of the breath. So next exhalation, let's release the arms down to the sides. And widen the knees, zigzag the heels, the feet back in so that our heels are underneath our knees. We can invite the feet to be parallel. And we'll inhale here, nice full breath. And then on the exhalation, let's open the arms straight out from the shoulders as if we were making a T. And we're going to lower the knees about halfway to the left. We can feel the inside of the right foot, the outside of the left foot, and the back of the right shoulder grounding down. Inhale. So nice grounding through that right shoulder. On the exhalation, let's reach the thighs or knees away from the shoulder. It's not important how far over they go. I'm wanting them to be about about halfway. It's more important that we get this sense of reach through the thighs. So right knee moving away from the hip. You can feel a little lengthening through the right thigh and the front of the right hip here. Nice, steady breath here. And notice how the breath feels as we're holding and stretching. And we'll inhale, drawing the knees back up through center. Exhale, lowering the knees about halfway to the right. You can feel the inside of the left foot, outside of the right foot grounding down. And we're going to press through the back of the left shoulder lightly. Inhale. And on the exhalation, reach the knees, the thighs, away from the shoulder. So a long diagonal reach here, stretching along the front of the left thigh and hip and into the side body. Nice. Inhale, full breath. Exhale completely. One more round. And then we're going to inhale, draw the knees back up through center. Exhale, lower the knees halfway to the left. So we're going to take it one more time. We're going to add another part. So pressing through the back of the right shoulder, reaching the knees away. Inhale. On the next exhalation, we're going to gently turn the head toward the right, just enough, right, so that it feels good for the spine. And then reach out through the palms and fingers, reaching the fingertips away from the center line of the body. Really active reach. You can feel the stretch through the fascial system here, front of chest, through the arms and palms. Nice, steady breath. Inhale, drawing the knees back through center with the gaze. Exhale, lowering the knees halfway to the right, pressing through the back of the left shoulder, reaching knees away from the shoulder. We'll find a nice inhalation here. And on the exhalation, reaching out through the arms and palms and gently turning the head toward the left. Yeah? So that reach out through the palms and the fingers can help open lines of energy and stretch the tissue. We'll inhale back through center. And then we'll take just a little bit of a flow. So we'll inhale, center, exhale, lowering the knees in one direction, gently turning the head away. Inhale, coming through center. Exhale, lowering the knees, turning the head gently away. Yeah? Noticing how that feels. And if there's a little desire in the body to move a little differently, maybe turning the palms down as you twist and reach. Maybe bringing the arms overhead. And next time we lower knees to the right and come back to center. We're going to bring the knees up and into chest. And if it's comfortable, we might curl up, forehead toward the knees. Navel can press down gently here. And then we'll lower back down through the spine. And we'll lower the feet slowly to the mat. So we're going to lower toes, balls of feet, and heels. And we're going to inhale and draw the right knee up toward the body. We're going to do some hip circles here. So the left foot is going to stay grounded. We're going to invite the pelvis to stay nice and steady here so that we aren't rocking it, but it's steady toward the mat. And we're going to open the right knee out. So we have external rotation at the hip here. And then we'll stretch that leg, straighten the leg nice and long. Drawing the right knee up and in toward the body. Inhale here. Exhale, opening the knee out, steady pelvis. Stretching the leg nice and long. Yeah. Inhale, knee draws up and in. Exhale, knee opens out, and we stretch it nice and long. Beautiful. Inhale, drawing up and in. Exhale, opening. One more time. Inhale, up. And exhale, open. As we open and lengthen the leg down, we're going to change up the direction. So we can open the knee out to the side and draw it up and in toward the body. Straighten it nice and long. And then open it out. Draw it up and in. Exhaling, straightening. Inhaling, opening out and up. And a few more times with the breath. This time as we draw the knee up and in toward the body, let's just hug it in gently. Notice how that feels at the hip. And then we're going to cross the right ankle over the left thigh so that the ankle bone hangs off the side of the thigh. Yeah. On our inhalation, we're going to turn the right knee in toward the body. On our exhalation, we're going to open it away from the body. Inhale, so we're taking internal rotation at the hip. Exhale, external rotation at the hip. Yeah. Inhale, turning the knee in. Exhale, opening the knee out. A few more times here. Warming up the hip. And as we open the knee this time, let's pause. Inhale. On the excuse me. On the exhalation, we're going to draw the cradle position in toward the body. So lift that left foot, draw the left knee up and in, and then we're going to rock a little here, side to side, before we get our hands helping out. And just say hello to the hips, the glutes. Notice how things are feeling there. This might be maybe my all-time favorite pose. And then we'll come into that center point and we'll deepen a little. So we could bring left hand to the outside of the right ankle bone, right hand to the right thigh, encouraging a little external rotation there. We could slip right hand between the thighs and hold behind the left thigh with our hands. We could bring our hands over our shin. A lot of options there, depending on what feels right on any given day. Yeah. It might be different. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe try that audible sigh, that little bit of a, maybe a little shimmy at the heart. So there can be a tendency to begin to grip a little with the face, the forehead, the jaw, the neck. Sometimes the arms and hands, we get into this sort of over-efforting mode. Can we find a way to breathe and enjoy the sensation of stretching, of opening, of creating space in the body? Nice steady breath. Next exhalation, let's lower the cradle position back to partial recline. And take a moment here. Let's think about the sacrum, the triangular bone at the base of the spine, and just drop it down. And notice how you feel on the right side, and notice how you feel on the left side. And then we'll move into hip circles on the left. So we'll inhale, left knee up and in toward the body. And we'll exhale, opening the knee out to the side and stretching the leg nice and long. Inhale, knee draws up and in. Exhale, we're going to open the knee out and stretch it nice and long. Inhale and exhale. So letting the movement match your breath rhythm. So oftentimes when we have a teacher, we try to meet their breath rhythm, and it's not always the correct mix, right? So I encourage you to listen to your breath rhythm and know that you can always catch up. Next time we extend the leg, we're going to change up the direction. Opening the knee out to the side, drawing it up and in. Level pelvis. Exhale, stretching the leg nice and long. Inhale, opening out, drawing it up and in. And exhaling, extending. Nice. A few more rounds. How is the breath feeling? How is the body feeling? As we draw the knee out to the side and up and in, we're going to hug it in gently for a moment. And then we'll cross left ankle over the right thigh, ankle bone hanging off the side. Inhale, drawing the knee in toward the body. Exhale, opening it away. So first we're going to take this movement at the hip. So we have that right foot grounded. We're going to turn the knee in and then open the knee out. Inhale, turning in. Exhale, opening out. Getting a sense of what it feels like in the hip socket here. Warming it up. Next time we open the knee out, we're going to pause. We're going to inhale here. On the exhalation, we can lift that right foot and draw the cradle position in toward the body and rock a little side to side. Yeah. We're coming into the center point to deepen. We can bring right hand to the left ankle, left hand to the right thigh. Just a little encouragement at the hip. We could slip left hand between the thighs and hold behind the right thigh or over the right shin. Inhale, full breath here. Exhale completely. You might again try that audible sigh. Encouraging some softening in the body as we're stretching and deepening. And you might notice the mind. Is the mind hanging out in this experience or wandering a little? And can we invite it back in some way? I think we all have a very particular way of inviting the mind into the moment. For me, the breath is often the tether. And what might it be for you? Inhale, full breath. Next exhalation, let's lower the cradle position back to partial recline. Deepening down through sacrum. And then we can bring the knees up and in toward the body. And we're going to move into our cat pose. So some of us might want to rock up and down a little along the spine, this way. And some of us might want to roll to the side to come up. We all have a different way. And as we come up, we're going to move into cat pose, so on hands and knees. Once I get remiked. New business here. So we have our fingers spread wide, our wrists underneath our shoulders, our knees underneath our hips or a little further back. I like mine a little further back. And I'm going to encourage you to try to tuck your toes so we can keep some movement in our feet. As a body worker, I see lots of feet. And movement in feet is a good thing. Let's lengthen through the spine. So we're going to think about the top of the head moving towards the wall in front of us, and then our sits bones or our hips reaching back toward our heels. And can we get the sense of direction, like movement in both directions, so that we're really using navel center to lift up toward the ribs and up toward the heart. And that navel center lift brings us out of the wrists a little too, so that we aren't dropping everything down into the wrists, but we're lifting the heart center forward and up. We're going to move first from cat tuck to cat. So let's exhale and draw the tail toward the belly and draw top of head toward the tail. So we're arching the spine. I have a student who calls this scaredy cat pose. And then we'll lengthen back out. We're going to reach sits bones back toward the back of the mat, lengthening through the spine. And then can we draw the cranium up toward the ceiling a little bit? So we're getting some retraction in the cervical spine here. And then open through the chin and the gaze. And then again tucking. So top of head to tail. Flexion through the spine. And then lengthening and really trying to pay attention to the movement here. All the things that we might feel. Sits bones, pelvic floor, spine, heart. Exhaling as we tuck. And inhaling as we lift and open. Next time we lift a cat, we're going to add in one more pose. Yeah? So we come up into our cat and we're going to reach our hips toward our heels. We might walk the hands out a little bit more and lower the forehead down. Some of us are going to be a little higher due to the availability of movement in the knees. Yeah? And some of us are going to be able to come back all the way. Inhale here. And then exhale. We're lifting the hips, drawing them forward, and we're going to tuck again through the spine so we can land in cat tuck. Inhale, cat. Exhale, hips to heels. Pressing back into a child pose. We're going to pause and pop in child's pose for a nice wide breath. And then exhale, cat tuck. Easy in the neck here. Inhale, cat. Exhale, child. Pause for the inhalation. Notice where you feel it. Exhale, cat tuck. Inhale, cat. Exhale, child. Pause for the inhalation. Exhale, cat tuck. Inhale, cat. Exhale, child. Pause for the inhalation. Exhale, cat tuck. And inhale, cat. From here, let's widen the knees and bring the big toes together. We're going to move our hips back toward our heels again. This is called wide child. We get a nice reach back, stretch into the inner thigh groin, and we can let the spine soften down. Oops. In our wide child pose, you can think about where you can feel the breath here. It's usually easier to find the breath once we spread the knees. There's room for the belly, which is different than having it pressed against the thighs in the classic child pose. So here, can you think about the back ribs lifting and spreading? All right, so as we're inhaling, we can feel the breath widening into the back of the lungs, lifting, widening the middle back, the upper back, and then exhaling completely. We can play a little bit here with a spinal flow, and you can look up if you're kind of wondering what that means. But on the inhalation, I'm going to exaggerate it a little, but we can round a little, sort of like a cat tuck. And on the exhalation, we can lengthen. Maybe even bringing chin to the mat. Inhale, rounding a little. And exhaling, lengthening a little. And feeling the breath. And noticing the movement that's possible here in the spine. Just one more breath here. And as we exhale, on our inhalation, we're going to draw the hips forward again, and then readjust our knees so that we can come back into a cat pose. From here, we're going to step our right foot forward, right foot forward to the front of the mat. And I see some of you have blocks. You could use the blocks here if you wanted to use blocks. Didn't. And as we come into a low lunge, we're going to bring our hands to our right thigh and come up a little. And just see if we feel steady, right? So in a low lunge, we have the right knee over the right ankle, nice straight line through the shin. Yeah? And we can adjust our lunge by moving this back knee. So if you feel a lot of pressure here, you might scooch it in a little. I'm going to bring top of my left foot to ground, and then as I press onto the thigh a little here, I'm going to lift up through the spine. And I'm going to tuck the pubic bone forward just a little bit. So pelvis forward just a stitch so we feel nice and stable. Can you try lifting your right toes and then pressing down through the sole of the right foot here? You feel that engagement. And think about inner thighs moving midline just a little bit. So we're lifting up pelvic floor, navel center, Again, kind of pulling us up towards sky. If this feels stable, we could bring our arms up and we're going to move our arms. If it doesn't feel stable, hang out, hands to thigh, yeah? But if we can, we could try to bring the arms up, and then we'll bring right arm back and left arm forward, and let the right arm move where it wants to move, as opposed to thinking that it has to go all the way back somehow or other, okay? Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, left arm opening back, right arm forward. And again, we're going to let the arms flow in a way that feels helpful, good for the shoulders, particularly if it's something that we're doing for the first time. Yeah. Inhale, lifting and up. And exhale, stretching. One more time, side to side. And this time, as we bring the arms up, let's turn the palms toward each other, reach the fingertips up towards sky, press shoulders down away from the ears. Really solidly feel the legs pressing down. Inhale, full breath here, and on the exhalation, we're going to reach the arms forward and down. Yeah. Fingertips to ground. Can we bring the right knee back? Yeah. And the left foot forward. Knee over the ankle, nice straight line through the shin. Lifting up, we can bring hands to the left thigh. We can press down onto that thigh. Again, try to make sure that we're stacked appropriately there. Pelvis is to the front. Lifting left toes, pressing down through the sole of the foot. Pubic bone a little bit forward, lifting up, 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 up through the spine. Deciding if we're feeling balanced enough to bring the arms up. Inhale. On the exhale, left arm back, right arm forward. Inhale, arms coming up through center. Exhale, right arm back, left arm forward. Inhale, drawing up. Exhale, reach. Inhale, drawing up. Exhale, reach. One more time, side to side. And bringing the arms up, palms midline, reaching fingertips up, pressing shoulders down. Inhale, full breath. On the exhale, reach it forward and down. Bringing fingertips to the mat, we're going to tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and step the back foot forward to the front. We're going to invite our feet to be hips distance apart, parallel, and bend the knees here. Take the pressure off and relax the head forward and down. Standing forward fold. I often call it earth touch from the Tri-Yoga system. I'm going to roll up through the spine here. Nice slow roll. As we come up, we'll bring the arms out to the sides. It usually feels good to bring them up overhead. Okay. So as we're up here, let's glance down at our feet, hips distance apart, parallel. Yeah. And we're going to lift the toes and press down through the feet. And lift up through the navel, lift up through the heart, lift up through the fingers, maybe even the gaze. Can we find an inhale here, and then on the exhale, we're going to let the arms open out to the sides. We're going to bend the knees a little, and we're going to swoosh. It's a classic yoga term. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale with a swoosh. Inhale, feel the feet grounding. Feel the body lifting up towards sky. Exhale with a swoosh. 2 more times. Inhale, lift. The gaze might lift. You might get a little back bend. You might not. You might be like, oh, my shoulders. I just want to focus there. Yeah. Last time with a swoosh. This time, we're going to inhale up. And then exhale, let's bring right arm forward and down. And then we're going to reach with the right arm in front and the left arm up and over. Inhale, coming up to center. Exhale, reach. So we're reaching the arms in both directions. That usually keeps us from overextending in some part of the spine. Inhale, coming up, Exhale, reach. And we could have the gaze forward. Or we could look underneath the upper arm and get a little bit of a twist in. Noticing the breath. And lifting up. Let's bring both arms back up to sky. And reach fingertips up. Press shoulders down. Easy in the neck, easy in the jaw. And then we'll open the arms out to the sides and down. And we're going to try tree pose. Okay? And we have wonderful things to go touch on if we're not feeling like we're in a balanced position or experience today. But we're going to bring weight to the left foot and then step the left foot in so that the ball of the foot is inside. Now, how many trees do you know that look the same, right? Not very many. So like you're going to find your own tree. Okay? So for some of us, we're going to keep that thigh straight. And for some of us, we might begin to try this opening out through the hip. Okay? But we're grounding through the left foot. One of the things that people begin to do first off is they think too much about the ankle or the foot. And so it's really helpful in my body to think about lifting up through the navel. So this is where I'm going up, 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 and I start to float that foot. Yeah? So this might be the pose right here. For some of us, we might want to turn the leg out and get this opening at the hip. Yeah. There can be a tendency to try to get it out too far, and then you can see my pelvis move, and then everything starts to spiral. We really want to be listening to where that is in the hip. Yeah, we're just going to keep it nice and low tonight. We might bring hands to heart here. We're going to lift, 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 so you can feel yourself lifting out of this left hip. Yeah, we might bring arms out and move a little or reach up a little. You might notice where the breath is here. I wasn't talking about it. And we can bring hands to heart. And bring the knee forward. Lower down and just shake it out a little. Yeah. And notice the play of the mind. Yeah. Where did it go? What's it doing? Can it come back in to this moment of the right foot grounding down, left foot coming in. And experiencing the body. So if the mind is a little somewhere else, or we're a little frustrated because it's not working the way we want it to today, right? How often does that happen? Can we come back into the breath for a moment? Can we feel the breath? Feel the earth. Lift it up. Highly suggest looking for the grounding and the lifting when you're at the line at the grocery store. Superb practice for life. Yeah. Go taller, taller, taller. Just see, maybe it's going to open a little, maybe not. This hip isn't as interested in opening in my body, but it might be for you. Yeah. Sometimes it's nice just to play a little with the arms to get that. We're coming back into balance, all the time. Healing-wise, body-wise, life-wise. I'm going to lower it down. And shake it out. And we're going to come back to the front of the mat because we're already towards the end of class. I'm going to inhale, lift the arms up. One last reach up to the sky. Oh, let it feel good. And then take it back down to the earth. There's touch, softening through the spine, a little bend through the knees. Yeah. We can hang here for just a breath or two. And if you are feeling like this deep desire to stretch the hamstrings, you can begin to lengthen a little bit more there. You could have hands to ground, fingertips in line with toes. You could bring hands behind the calves. And only if it feels like the perfectly right thing to do for your body. Next exhalation, release the hands, bend the knees. We're going to come back down into basic squat. And then roll down onto our backs. As we roll down onto our backs, we'll bring the knees up and into chest. And we'll rock a little. Let's rock the knees side to side. The head could rock away from the knees if you'd like. And then we'll lower the feet slowly down. We're going to see if we can lower the toes first, and then the balls of the feet, and then the heels to the mat. And I think it would be lovely to add in the heart pulse here. So the heart pulse is this movement up and down through the spine. And we get that movement by pressing towards the soles or the balls of the feet and then releasing. So you press towards the toes like you're pressing them down toward the mat, and then you just let it go. So it's really the thighs that's moving the body. We just let the spine respond to this movement towards the balls of the feet. So we're going to let the pelvis be easy and the cranium be easy, so we get some rocking there. It's a playful movement. And what we're doing here is we're going to be stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system. So if we do it for a little while and we give it a good rock, a pulse, 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 pulse. When we slow it down, there will be a response, a hormonal response in the body. So let's slow it down, turn the attention in and notice how it feels. Inhale, full breath, exhale with an audible sigh. Dropping into that sensation just a little bit more. And from here, you can stretch your legs out into Shavasana, our final relaxation pose. Yeah. If you have a blanket, if you brought one, or if you brought anything to cover with, you can get yourself cozied up a little bit. And sometimes it's nice to have a blanket. I'm going to show that for everybody online. A blanket under the knees. I lost it. Like that. And, or maybe a little something underneath the head. We don't want something too high underneath the head, just enough. Yeah. Particularly if we have our chin up towards sky quite heavily. If we can get a little support underneath the cranium, we can let the chin drop in a little, down a little, so we get a little more length in the back of the neck here. And a little support underneath the knees can help us feel easier in the low back. All right. So I like the heart pulse as a way into Shavasana, a way to really pull attention into the more subtle experience of the body. It can take practice to hold our attention on the subtle. In Shavasana, we invite the breath to relax. Yeah. Moving back into an easy, relaxed breath, the breath of the baby. Simple rise and fall of the belly. You can let the bones of the body be heavy. And invite the muscles to relax. You might invite your attention to the area in your body where you know you have a little bit of grip, where you hold tension. Just checking in. Oh, see? Neck and shoulders for me. Can you ask it, that little special spot, to relax a little bit more, to let go? Easy breath, easy body, easy mind. Inviting the attention of the mind to soften into this moment. That all together, the body and mind and heart might gentle. Might move into a state of togetherness. Wholeness. And we'll begin to deepen the breath here. Nice, slow deepening of the breath. Yeah. So we inhale just a little bit wider. And we move into that complete exhalation. Navel drawing gently toward the spine. Inhale draws in, and again we might just invite it to open a little bit more deeply, widely up through the chest. And then we again exhale completely. Feeling out into the fingers and the toes. We might find a little movement there so that we can roll to the side and find our way up into a comfortable seat. And take a moment in our comfortable seat to lift up through the spine. Heavy in the pelvis, light in the spine. We might bring hands to heart if it's comfortable. Taking a moment to honor the journey of relationship between the body, the breath, the mind, and the sweetness of the heart. Thank you for joining me and exploring some yoga tonight. Thank you. Namaste. And you're welcome to stay and ask questions or chat a little. I like to talk about yoga. And you're welcome to go home if that's not your cup of tea.
Do you have a studio in Greenwich?
I actually teach at Sanctuary Yoga right now, which is in Kalamazoo, so Maple Street Magnet School area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is nice. I like that because it's gentle and relaxing.
Good, yeah. And so I'm not sure if you got the very first part, but there are some videos that I have available online that you could check out too.
Oh, okay. Great. Okay.
Yeah. Anything on your end, Catherine, or you're good? Okay.
Everyone seems nice and relaxed online.
Did they all zoom out? Still asleep? Okay, I take my device off. Thank you.